LeBron James Jr. declared for the 2024 draft. I imagine that he already has a spot on the Lakers. I imagine that was probably part of the deal with Jeannie Buss, that I will stay provided that you draft my child so I can play with my child. And he said, I've had a year with some ups and downs, but all added to growth for me as a man, a student, and an athlete. I want to know what classes he went to. Did you go to class with LeBron James Jr.? I want to know. He said, I've made the decision to enter the NBA draft while maintaining my college eligibility and will also be entering the NCAA transfer portal. So He's doing both. I appreciate that. Thank you, USC, for an amazing freshman year. As always, thankful for my family, friends, doctors, athletic trainers, fans, and for the support. He's 19. He had cardiac arrest. I'm not going to say anything negative about Bronny. This is not a conversation about Bronny. We will not talk about children. Well, y'all can do what y'all want. I am not. I think he's a lovely human being, pursuing his dreams. But it does speak a little to kind of the culture that we're in right now, that he is declaring for the NBA draft. But thoughts and prayers.
He's keeping his options open. This is like when you holler at one cute girl in the club, but you still want to see if there's another girl. He know he can go to another school and play in college, but just in case somebody want me in the NBA, let me go and see what's happening over there while maintaining his college eligibility. So it's not like he need an official agent anyway. His daddy's friend is Rich Paul. His daddy's agent is his dad's best friend. So that's practically your uncle your whole life anyway.
Also, he a lot of kids do this. Like he's not alone. A lot of kids will use this to go to the draft to find out what they need to work on. So then they go back to school to another program, because now all these kids transferring. This transfer portal is crazy right now. You don't have to wait a year. So kids are kind of leaving to go find a better situation immediately. And so he may go to somewhere else and be like, I can play more and I can work on, say, my jump shot or whatever they tell me I need to work on.
Let me ask you, Roderick does balls in and balls are deep. The balls deep in the balls, sports on the Black Guy Who Tips. You know, as I was remarking, first of all, we got the NIL deals. So Angel Reese is like, I got a $2 million NIL deal. Caitlin Clark had a $1 million NIL deal. LeBron James, Bronny, $5.9 million this freshman was making on his is the highest value. And Tom Brady, I think, has something to do with that, as well. But they don't have to play. The elite athletes don't really need to go to the NBA. And now with the portal, you can transfer. So coaches now, you can't abuse these kids verbally like you used to and get away with it, because a kid could be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going.
Yeah.
You can't
even make them play defense on Caitlin Clark for 40 minutes and then have them stay. They'll be like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah, she transferred.
She did leave. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think this is good though.
Shout out to her. She's an ally.
She's an ally. That's hilarious.
She took them buckets so that the black women on the team didn't have to take them buckets. She took them all to the head, and she's an accomplice. I appreciate her. She spoke up for her black teammates on Saturday, and then took 41 of them things to the grill on Monday. I said, "You a real one."
Angel's hurt. I need to let Caitlin score on me forever.
When she turned around and did this move, she did the shrug towards the like, I don't know what y'all don't want to switch. So like,
so I don't like it. I don't think this is good. What it is teaching, because you don't have to sit in anything, and there's no penalty. Like, oh, I don't like how you talk to me. I'm going to the next team.
It's a catch-20. It's a catch-22, right? Because the reason this correction has happened is because of the manipulation of the NCAA and the unchecked power of coaches and schools over kids, where we used to have actual abusive situations and there was nothing you could do about it. Schools had to approve your transfer. So you could have teams that like completely wreck people's careers out of vindictiveness. And then they're like, and you can't go nowhere. And if you do go somewhere, you're going to have to wait 1 or 2 years before you can even get over there. And so what happened is the NCAA, with the pressure of the government on them, has basically just put their hands up like they were defending Caitlin Clark and said, y'all do what y'all want to do. NIL is unregulated, which is one of the reasons that I think the kids still look towards the pros, because a pro contract is a contract. This NIL stuff, man, some of these kids not getting their money. No one's talking about that. Some of this stuff is falling through. Florida, there was like a school in Florida that promised all this money and then at the last second said, we ain't got it. So like, that's not necessarily
there at the school.
Yeah. So that's not necessarily like, the NIL money is cool if you get it and if it's consistent, but things change so fast on that front. You're right though. Bronny comes from money. He gonna be all right no matter what happens to him, which almost makes the dream of the NBA stuff hard for him. It's got to be more fervent, right? He probably more passionate about it because he's like, it's all about reputation. It's all about pleasing my dad. All the pressure the society's put on me to be a failure or a success. It's like for him, it ain't even just I got to make it out the hood. It's like, this is all y'all know me for is this.
I feel like basketball is the toughest sport to make it in as a junior. Like in the shadow of the greatness. I think baseball is the easiest. I don't know nothing about hockey. Football, it's 50-50. You've seen the sons of some players do well, like Marvin Harrison Jr. about to come into the league, probably first round pick. But I just think it's something about basketball where if your daddy really good at basketball, that's tougher than coming out the hood to play.
You need a sorry daddy.
You do. LeBron, he got both parents. You already, that's like strike one, strike two. Both parents, and they love you. Ugh.
Yeah. Paying all your games.
Yeah. that part, there's a thirst in that dog that you have to dig deeper to find. I'm not saying Bronny doesn't have it, but I'm saying that's definitely
now. That being said,
bigger mountain to climb.
In the last 10 to 15 years, though, especially in football at quarterback and in basketball too, there's a lot of nepotism and a lot of like getting into the right stream. Like if you can kind of get in early, they can kind of get you to the right coaches and stuff. The body's gonna come into play. It's never gonna be a complete nepotism thing, but like there's a reason that you're gonna have like a Steph Curry and Seth Curry in the NBA.
Austin Rivers.
Yeah, like you get access to coaches, programs, stuff that you normally don't get with the AAU circuit, and the way like kids are brands now by the time they're 15. Like it's a different game that's being played where it's not necessarily how we came up, which was like you either get a wicked jump shot or you sell crack rock. That's how you get out the hood. Like a lot of these kids, these Jalen's, is a lot of light-skinned Jalen's coming into the league where it's like one daddy was an athlete. Well, one parent was an athlete and one parent was, the white lady that met him, and boom, they in the league too because they know the right people.
Yeah, I think it's a thing though where if you're gonna have a son that's good, then like both of you can't be legends. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like Dale Curry is amazing, but Steph Curry is the elevation of that. You look at, say, like Kobe's dad, Joe Bryant, right? Was a pro, played well, but then Kobe was like you almost need a daddy that's just all right so he can be home
I
coaching.
Agree. Yeah. Like the legend thing is too much
for a couple months.
Let me like Tim Hardaway Jr. is a good example of like his daddy was a beast. Tim Hardaway getting a check in the NBA for the last 8 years. And we, like no pressure on him to be special. Bronny's not going to have that. He's not going to be able to be like a role player that we respect. It's going to be like, yeah, your daddy though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a crop coming up, Anthony Carmelo's son. You got Gilbert Arenas, his daughter and his son, Kenyon Martin's son. There's like so many. Shaq's daughter.
Scottie
Pippen's son, the twins, Matt Barnes, who that has to be really interesting because the twins they're being coached, I think, by Derek Fisher, who's with their mama, and Matt Barnes, who whipped his ass, jumped over a fence and whipped his ass. those are his twins. They're playing for the man whose ass he whipped. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in sport.
Like,
It's
see,
like
right here,
Housewives.
I would pick Ron Harper's son out of everybody you've named. Ron Harper's son has an opportunity to have that Dale and Steph Curry dynamic. Ron Harper was solid, respected, played with a lot of good players, so he can just give all that wisdom to his son. I bet you, if I had to pick one,
Right.
it's one
You think
of them.
that's the one that's going to be, okay, we have
and
a
of
chance.
course,
Ron was great, but he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame.
and of course,
Carmelo going to the Hall.
We're trying to pick like people that are on an echelon that no one reaches. So like more than likely, everyone we name gonna be okay to bad, just because that's the nature of sports. Like the odds of any of them being great is extremely low. And so there shouldn't be any shame attached to you are LeBron's son and you just all right. But I just don't think we live in a world where they gonna let him be all right and it not be a problem. And honestly, I don't think he want to play on his daddy team. That sounds terrible. I love my daddy, and I wouldn't want to play on the same team as him, man. We going to the club together?
Austin Rivers talked about that all the time with the Sixers playing for when his daddy was the coach. Doc Rivers was the coach.
Yeah, I don't. And then they gonna ask LeBron halfway through the season, you gonna trade your son? Because they ask him every year about every other teammate he done had. Like, yeah, maybe your son the problem. Well, we going into the All-Star break. It's looking like the trade deadline coming up. Like, you don't need that kind of pressure if you Bronny.
I run my fingers through her hair as she smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one you're lusting is the one